everyone, welcome back to my class. This is Rumana Ali. I hope you all are fine. In today's class, let us start a new lesson, and the name of our lesson is Our Village, Our Tanks. So in this lesson, we are going to discuss about the different tanks that are present in the different villages, and tanks are the main source for the process of agriculture. Here in this lesson, we are going to study about the experience of one farmer, and his name was Varalakshmi. So Varalakshmi was a farmer. He belongs to an agricultural family. His ancestors were also the farmers. They were dependent on the agriculture. So the agriculture is the main occupation of Varalakshmi's family. Varalakshmi, he is a farmer. He experienced a lot of things in his village. So he shared his experience, and he said that he as a farmer uses water for the purpose of irrigation. Firstly, agriculture means, you all know, growing plants, right? So growing plants or trees, that process is called as agriculture, and for the process of agriculture we need a lot of water. Water supply can be done through tanks, through rivers, or through some ponds. Varalakshmi, he said that in the past few years there was no proper rainfall, due to which they grow rain-fed crops. Rain-fed crops are the crops that requires very less amount of water to grow, and some other crops are present like paddy. Paddy is a crop which requires a lot of water in order to grow. They were not growing paddy because of the insufficient amount of water. They were going for rain-fed crops. But in the last year, rainfall occurs, that too heavy rainfall occurs, and it causes floods. So due to the floods, the water bodies which are present in the village, they overflowed. Overflowing of the water can be seen due to the floods that occurred. Okay, here Varalakshmi has shared an information about a tank called Nagula Cheruvu. Nagula Cheruvu is a tank which is present in his village, and this tank is a major source. It is the main source of water in the agriculture. In the process of agriculture, this tank is the main source. Okay, the water which is present in this tank, it is used by so many farmers in the village for the process of irrigation. Irrigation is nothing but the supply of the water into the agricultural fields. But the farmers, if they want to go to the tank Nagula Cheruvu, then they have to cross a pond, and that pond is called as Ladha Madugu. So Ladha Madugu is the name of a pond which is found near the tank Nagula Cheruvu. So this pond is overflowed due to the heavy rainfall, and the water from this pond entered into the tank Nagula Cheruvu. Now the farmers in the village of Varalakshmi, they were all farmers living. So all the farmers, after the rain stops, they went to the Nagula Cheruvu tank. They gathered there and started discussing about the floods. They started discussing about the methods that they need to follow in order to grow the crops, and even they discussed about the overflowing of the pond Ladha Madugu. So all these topics were discussed by the different farmers near the tank Nagula Cheruvu, and among those farmers, one farmer was there, and his name was Narahari. He is a famous farmer. So Narahari was a farmer who knows about Varalakshmi's village as well as about the other villages that are there in the surrounding. So he knows about all the things like about agricultural fields. He knows about the different places, different tanks, different water bodies that are present in the different villages. So he met Varalakshmi, he met Narahari, and Narahari started discussion about the history of this tank Nagula Cheruvu. Narahari was a farmer who knows the history of the different tanks. So he started telling about the history of Nagula Cheruvu. What he told, let us see that. Okay, let us see the history of Nagula Cheruvu. So Narahari was a farmer whose ancestors were the farmers. They did agriculture on a land which is present near the land of Nagula Cheruvu. So when Nagula Cheruvu tank was not built, there the land was present where the farmers, they used to grow the crops, and there a big pond was present. Before the Nagula Cheruvu tank was built, a big pond was present on that land. That big pond was full of water. Whenever a moderate rainfall occurs, at the time it gets overflowed, and that water can be used in the low level fields. Narahari's father and grandfather, he told so many things about the tank Nagula Cheruvu, and they told that a farmer whose name was Mallikarjun, he went to the office, he went to the Gram Panchayat, and he met Tehsildar officers, and he discussed the matter of building a tank. He said that a pond is present which is supplying the water only to the low level fields. If they make a tank, it can become a main source for the process of agriculture. So based on the discussions, they have decided to convert the big pond into a tank, and they named that tank as Nagula Cheruvu. So in the construction of tank, one engineer whose name was Abdul Bari, he did a lot of hard work, and he helped in converting the pond into tank. This is how the construction of tank Nagula Cheruvu takes place. Now this tank is the main source for the agriculture. It is a main source to supply the water in the different agricultural fields. Let us discuss about the topic construction of a tank. How the tank can be constructed? Let us see that. Firstly, they dug the canals from where the water is flowing. The regions from where the water is overflowing, near that region, after they dug the canals, they go for the construction of bunds. They made bunds around the canals. How they construct the bunds? So they will carry the mud in the bullock cart, and they also brought stones from the nearby villages, and mud and stones can be used to make the different bunds, and that bunds are constructed. So the bunds are made more and more stronger by using the stones and mud, and they also drawn the scale to measure how much of water is there in the canal and how much water needs to be moved out of that. So all these things can be measured by a scale that was drawn, and 2 outlets were also made in the tank. Whenever the gate is opened, at that time the water, it flows into the canals, and when the gates are closed, at that time the flowing of the water can stop. So in this way the tanks can be constructed. They dug the canals, they construct the bunds, they draw the scale, they construct the outlets and the gates. So all these things can be done in order to construct one tank. So after the construction of the tank, there are so many changes. There were so many drastic changes that has been seen in the lives of the farmers. They grow the paddy because they got the sufficient amount of water. When the rainfall occurs, at the time the rain water, it is collected into the canals, and that water is supplied into the fields. They grow paddy, they get the economic profit, and in this way the economic development of the farmers can be seen, and there was a drastic change that occurs in the lives of farmers. So this is about the construction of a tank. Let us talk about some of the big tanks that are present in our state. The first one is Ramappa tank. It is a tank which is located near Ramappa temple in the Jayashankar district. Okay, and this tank is a man-made tank, and the area which is covered by the tank is about 24 square kilometer, and there are so many hills and forests that are present around the tank. तो रामापा टैंक एक ऐसे टैंक है जिसको बनाया गया है रामापा टेम्पल के पास में, और ये एक मैनमेड टैंक है, और ये वाले टैंक के अतराफ में बहुत सारे हिल्स और फॉरेस्ट प्रेजेंट है, और ये टैंक में जितना भी वाटर स्टोर करते हैं वो वाटर को दूसरे रीजन्स में सप्लाई किया जाता है ताकि एग्रीकल्चर प्रोसेस किया जाए. द नेक्स्ट वन इज पनागल टैंक. This tank is located in Nalgonda district. This tank is also called as Udaya Samudram. Panagal tank is 3 kilometers away from the Nalgonda headquarters, and this tank was built by Kakatiya king and his name was Prathaparudra. Okay, Kakatiya king had built the tank called Panagal tank, and this tank is near the temple Chaya Someshwara Swami temple. This is the name of a temple. So near the Panagal tank you can find the presence of this temple. तो पनागल टैंक एक ऐसी टैंक है जो नलगोंडा डिस्ट्रिक्ट में बनाई गई है. ये वाली टैंक बहुत सारा पानी स्टोर होता है और ये स्टोर किया हुआ वाटर ही सप्लाई किया जाता है पीपल को for the purpose of drinking and for the purpose of irrigation also. Okay, the next one is Hussain Sagar. This tank is present in Hyderabad and this was built by Qutub Shahi rulers. There are so many bunds that are built on the road and these bunds join the twin cities. Okay, and Hussain Sagar is famous for the tourism also. So many people from the different districts or from the different countries, they go to the Hussain Sagar as it is a place for tourism. And in the Hussain Sagar, the people, they also immerse the different idols of Ganesha. So here you can see the immersion of Ganesha idols too. Hussain Sagar एक ऐसी टैंक है जो हैदराबाद में है. ये कुतुब शाही रूलर्स ने बनाया है. ये एक ऐसी टैंक है जो दो सिटीज़ को ज्वाइन करती है और इसके अंदर during the festival of Ganesha, people they immerse the idols of Ganesha into the tank Hussain Sagar. और हुसैन सागर की डेप्थ 32 फीट है. ये बहुत ज़्यादा पल्यूटेड हो चुकी है. तो गवर्नमेंट दे आर ऑर्गेनाइजिंग सो मेनी प्रोग्राम्स in order to purify the tank that is Hussain Sagar. So they are working to make the Hussain Sagar free from pollution. There is one more tank that is present in the Hyderabad and we call that tank as Usman Sagar. It is also called as Gandipet tank. In that tank fresh water is present and that fresh water can be used by the people for the purpose of drinking. So this is about the different tanks that are present in our state. I hope it's clear to you. Meet you in next class. Goodbye.